Wednesday, October 8, 2025. Today on The Young and the Restless, Tessa comes up with a new plan of action. Victor tells Jill about Colin's last job, and Jack tries his luck with Kane. At the ranch, Victor complains about Jill giving Kane the benefit of the doubt as Nikki points out he's still being deceitful after all these years. Jill is baffled that Victor thinks he can change her mind about him. They go over Kane threatening everyone in town, and Jill insists he's backed off. There isn't going to be a war, she confidently declares. The Newmans, totally unconvinced, tell Jill that she clearly doesn't know how Kane built his empire. The real story isn't pretty. Jill informs them that Colin turned over legitimate businesses to Kane and they did very well. Victor chuckles at the idea that Atkinson was reformed. Nikki tells her the chateau in Nice was swindled from the de Leon family. Victor says it was Colin's last job, and there's no way Kane didn't know about it or even participate in it. Jill doesn't want to believe this, of course, but Victor claims to have a letter from Madame de Leon to one of Colin's aliases. Jill, sticking her chin out, says letters can be forged. Victor warns she's backing the wrong horse if she backs Kane. Jill insists Kane wouldn't lie to her. Getting to the point, Victor says Ashby trusts her. They need her to get the AI software. Jill, amused, figures Victor wants her to then turn it over to him. Jack shows up at the Kane train, and Ashby says he's been expecting him. Taking in his casual clothing, Jack surmises it was a rough night and that his conscience is kicking in and giving him a hard time. They get into it about why Ashby played carrot and stick with Billy. Jack takes Kane to task for being cruel to Billy and points out he also has unhealthy obsessions. Kane admits he and Billy are too much alike. He tells Jack that he's decided to give it all up. He's reconsidering who he wants to be. Jack doesn't believe anything Ashby says. Kane insists he's resetting. Jack says, prove it, get rid of this software program, destroy it and bury it forever. Kane, smirking, wonders who would oversee that. Do you have somebody in mind, Jack? Jack replies, as a matter of fact, I do, me. Highly amused and still smirking, Kane doesn't trust Jack to destroy it either. He might want to use it against Victor. Jack says he and the mustache on the same page these days. Kane muses that he could give it to Phillies or Billy. That would be fun. Jack sniffs that no one is having fun. Kane points out they all have their own agendas, just as they're accusing him of doing. Jack suggests there is one person Kane could trust, Jill. Ashby chuckles. This is why Jack summoned her back to town, isn't it? Turning serious, Kane declares he's not a monster, and only wanted Chancellor in the first place to forge peace between Billy and Jill for her sake. Jack's skeptical, but Kane shrugs that it's the truth. They debate whether Billy would have destroyed the company. Kane tells Jack he realized Billy was too erratic to take on what he was offering. Jack doesn't like this, but Kane points out he turned his back on Billy as well and said, enough is enough. At the park, Tessa and Daniel debate how Sharon will handle the truth about Mariah. Daniel assures her she's strong. Tessa flips to worrying about Mariah being in danger from the man she attacked. Daniel reminds her the man can't get to her in the clinic. Tessa muses, maybe we need to get to him first. Daniel is skeptical about approaching Hensley and points out Mariah may not be the only one in danger. Tessa realizes he could figure out who she is and pouts that it was a dumb idea. She fumes, this is so frustrating. Daniel wishes Chance was around to give them advice. Tessa rants that Mariah's being haunted by Ian Ward from beyond the grave. How do you deal with a man that's not even there? They pace around as Tessa rambles about wanting to know what happened in that room. Daniel warns her to stay grounded. Tessa decides she needs to see Mariah and tell her she knows what happened. Daniel worries Mariah may refuse to see her and Tessa will be disappointed. She's undeterred, and Daniel admits she's a force. As he lists off her other attributes, his feelings surface. Swallowing them back, he tells Tessa he's rooting for a happy ending for them. At the ranch, we're still on the AI software. As Jill surmises that Victor wants her to get it from Kane and hand it over to him, what could go wrong? Victor smoothly assures her it would protect Chancellor from attack. Jill astutely points out it would give him immense power. She walks out after Victor agrees to email her a copy of the de Leon letter. Outside, she grimaces. Inside, Victor tells Nikki he expects Jill will run right to Jack Abbott. He'll confirm Kane's a threat and tell her they have a solution. Nikki wants to know if Victor will destroy the AI software. Victor just needs Kane to believe he's destroyed it. Nikki asks if he's planning to use it against Jabbo. Did he team up with Jack so he could put a knife in his back? Victor chuckles. At the park, Tessa goes over all the ways Daniel's been there for her. He's just happy he could do it. Tessa, touching his arm, says he's been more than just a friend. You've been my best friend. She pulls him into an embrace. On the Kane train, Jack thinks Ashby can understand his complicated dynamic with Billy given that he forgave Colin. Kane insists his father changed. Jill walks in and Kane says she saw it too. Jill asks to speak to Kane alone. Jack wants to have a conversation. Jill wonders if he'll try to fill her head with negative things about Kane the way Billy and Victor have. Jack asks, "Is it working?" Jill replies, "Well, that remains to be seen." Kane looks unnerved. Rose Wednesday, October 8, 2025. Loyalties tested and lines crossed. Today on The Young and the Restless, Tessa hatches a bold new plan. Victor tightens his grip on Jill with a shocking revelation about Colin, and Jack challenges Kane to prove his soul isn't for sale. From the marble floors of the Newman Ranch to the restless shadows of Chancellor Park, power, secrets, and love intertwine as every character is forced to ask, who can they really trust? Candle the ranch, Victor plays his game. The morning sun filters through the tall windows of the Newman Ranch, glinting off silver picture frames and whiskey decanters. But there's nothing warm about the atmosphere inside. Victor Newman stands before the fireplace, hands clasped behind his back, his tone cold and sharp. Jill, you're backing the wrong man. Kane Ashby is not who you think he is. Jill Abbott, elegant as ever but with fire in her eyes, folds her arms. You've said that for years, Victor, and yet Kane keeps proving people wrong. Maybe it's you who's got him pegged all wrong. Nikki, ever the silent observer until now, interjects softly but firmly. Victor's not wrong about Kane's deceit. He's been manipulating people in this town for as long as I can remember. Jill sighs, tired of the Newman cynicism. People grow, Nikki. Kane's turned Chancellor around. He's built a real legacy. Victor gives a dark chuckle, the kind that chills the air. Built it or stole it. The word stole hangs in the air like smoke. Jill narrows her eyes. You're suggesting he's still running Colin's cons? You really think I'd be so easily fooled? Victor moves closer, voice low. You remember Colin's last big job? The chateau in Nice stolen from the de Leon family. Jill blinks, startled. That was years ago. Exactly, Victor replies. His last job, and Kane was there. He knew what Colin did. He may have even helped him. Nikki steps forward, holding a manila envelope. Madame de Leon wrote a letter before she died. It was addressed to one of Colin's aliases, the same one used when Kane suddenly came into money. Jill hesitates. Letters can be forged, Victor, and you've got no proof that Kane had anything to do with it. Victor smirks. You're loyal, I'll give you that, but loyalty can be blinding. He switches tone suddenly, leaning in like a businessman closing a deal. Jill, I'm not asking you to betray Kane. I'm asking you to test him. Get the AI software from him, the one he's been developing, and hand it to me. Let's see if he's really the honest man you think he is. Jill scoffs. And what would you do with it? Put it under lock and key at Newman. I'm not your pawn, Victor. Victor chuckles again, his eyes gleaming. You've always been a queen on this board, Jill, but even queens fall when they back the wrong side. Gear Chancellor Park, Tessa's fear and fury. Meanwhile, across town at Chancellor Park, Tessa paces the walkway, her voice trembling with frustration. Daniel, I can't sit here and do nothing while Mariah's locked in that clinic. She's breaking down, I can feel it. Daniel Romalotti Jr. sits on the bench watching her with a calm, steady gaze. Tessa, you know Sharon's strong, she's been through worse, she'll keep Mariah safe. Tessa shakes her head, her long hair flying. Safe from what? The man she attacked, the nightmares she keeps having? It's like Ian Ward's ghost is stalking her all over again. Daniel frowns. Ian Ward's dead, Tessa, he can't hurt her. Then why does she wake up screaming his name? She fires back. Daniel sighs, trying to reason with her. You can't fight a ghost, Tess, you can only fight the fear. She suddenly stops packing, her eyes flashing with resolve. Then maybe it's not the ghost I need to fight, maybe it's the man she attacked, Hensley. Daniel blinks in disbelief. You can't be serious, you're thinking of approaching him. Tessa folds her arms defiantly. If I can make him admit what he did to Mariah, whatever he did in that room, maybe she can finally heal. Daniel stands, or maybe you'll make things worse, you could put yourself in danger. Tessa exhales, the fire in her eyes dimming for just a moment. You're right, it's a terrible idea. She runs a hand through her hair and mutters, I feel like I'm losing her. Daniel gently touches her shoulder. You won't. You're the only person who's ever pulled Mariah back from the edge, don't forget that. She turns to him, eyes softening. You've been there for me too, Daniel, more than anyone. He smiles faintly. I'm just doing what any friend would do. Her hand lingers on his arm. No, more than a friend, my best friend. She pulls him into a long, emotional embrace, unaware that something deeper flickers behind Daniel's eyes, a feeling he's too scared to name. Brain at the Ashby estate, Jack confronts Kane. The next scene unfolds at the Ashby estate, where Kane Ashby lounges in his study, papers scattered on his desk and a half-empty glass of whiskey beside his laptop. He looks up as Jack Abbott steps inside uninvited, wearing his signature mixture of charm and provocation. Jack, Kane says dryly, to what do I owe this early morning ambush? Jack surveys him. You look like you've been up all night, Kane. Let me guess, conscience keeping you company. Kane smirks. That's rich, coming from a man whose moral compass has spun in every direction over the years. Jack shrugs, smiling thinly. Touché, but at least I don't hide behind family loyalty to justify bad behavior. Their words cut sharper than knives. Jack brings up Billy, the feud, the manipulation, the way Kane toyed with him over Chancellor's future. You played carrot and stick with my brother, Jack says. Now you're pretending you did it for Jill's sake, spare me. Kane leans back in his chair. You think you know me, Jack, but you don't. Billy and I were more alike than you want to admit. We both wanted control. We both wanted respect. I just went about it differently. Jack's voice hardens. And where did that get you? Staring at a piece of software that could destroy half this town if it fell into the wrong hands. Kane goes quiet, his smirk fading. Jack senses the hesitation and pounces. If you're really changing, if you're serious about starting over, prove it. Destroy the software, burn it, bury it, end this power trip before it ends you. Kane raises an eyebrow. And who exactly would oversee that, you? Jack crosses his arms. As a matter of fact, yes. Kane lets out a low chuckle. You don't trust me, I don't trust you. You'd probably destroy it only after you made a copy for yourself or for Victor. Jack's jaw tightens. Believe it or not, the mustache and I are on the same page this time. Kane leans forward, intrigued. Really, that must keep you up at night. Jack doesn't flinch. The only one who should be losing sleep is you, because you're running out of allies. For a long moment they stare each other down, then Jack offers an unexpected solution. There is one person who might still believe in you, Jill. Kane's face softens. She's the reason I'm doing any of this, Jack. Everything I've done was for her. Then prove it, Jack presses. Give her the software, let her decide what's next. Before Kane can respond, the door opens and Jill steps inside. Briefcase the confrontation, Jill, Jack, and Kane. The tension in the room triples as Jill enters, her gaze flicking from Jack to Kane. Funny, she says wryly. I thought I'd find you two at each other's throats, and here you are just as I expected. Jack smiles slightly. You came just in time. We were talking about honesty. Maybe you can help with that. Kane interjects quickly. Jack's trying to fill your head with his usual doom and gloom. Jill raises an eyebrow. Are you? Jack doesn't blink. He's sitting on something dangerous, Jill, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Kane shakes his head. You're unbelievable. You team up with Victor now, the man used you and your family for decades. Jill's voice grows sharp. Enough, I'm not taking sides, not yet, but if either of you lies to me again, I will find out. Jack smirks. Is it working? Jill glares at him. That remains to be seen. Kane looks rattled, for once unsure of his footing. Bomb the ranch, Victor's plan takes shape. Back at the ranch, Victor and Nikki watch from the window as the sun dips low. Nikki folds her arms, studying her husband. She won't do it, Victor. Jill's too smart to play your games. Victor's smile is faint but confident. She doesn't realize she's already playing. She'll go to Jack just like I planned, and Jack will push her toward Kane. By the time she figures out what's happening, I'll have everything I need. Nikki frowns. And when you get that software, will you destroy it? Victor's eyes gleam. Kane will believe I did. Are you planning to use it against Jabot? She demands. Is that what this alliance with Jack is really about, to put a knife in his back later? Victor chuckles lowly, savoring the accusation. My dear, when have I ever needed a knife? I have power that's sharper than any blade. Crescent Moon, Chancellor Park, Tessa's resolve. Night falls over the park. The fountain glows in the moonlight as Tessa and Daniel sit in quiet reflection. She thanks him for his patience, for his friendship, for holding her together when she's unraveling. Tessa, he says softly, Mariah's lucky to have you, but don't forget you deserve happiness too. Tessa smiles faintly. Maybe one day when all this is behind us. Daniel swallows hard, his feelings buried beneath loyalty. I'll be right here when that day comes. She touches his hand gently. You already are. Candle final moments, shifting alliances. Back at Kane's, Jill waits until Jack leaves before turning to Kane. You've got a lot of people worried, Kane, even me. Kane sighs. Then let me prove them wrong. I'll show you everything, no lies. But as Jill studies him, she can't shake Victor's warning. Somewhere across town, Victor raises a glass of bourbon and murmurs, the game's begun. And in Chancellor Park, Tessa looks up at the stars, whispering a promise to Mariah, I'm not giving up on you. Jigsaw tomorrow on The Young and the Restless. Jill learns the truth about the De Leon letter. Daniel makes a dangerous choice for Tessa, and Victor sets his trap for both Kane and Jack, with one shocking betrayal no one will see coming.